So which Premier League players will be heading to the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations? Clearly, some clubs won't be hit at all. Some clubs will be hit a little bit. And some clubs, I'll tell you what, their squads are going to be absolutely decimated. I'd expect maybe some early January loan moves and stuff like that. Although the Premier League does have a bit of a half-winter break, about 10 days for the clubs during the January-February time. But nonetheless, we're going to be taking a look today at the African players that could be heading from the Premier League to AFCON 2023, and we'll do it on a nation-by-nation basis. So obviously, no better place to start than Algeria, the best team in the world. Benrahma from West Ham could go, wasn't in the last squad, argued with the manager, Belmadi, in the Egypt game when he came off, but with a 27-man squad, you could see Said called up. Ait-Nouri for sure, I'm sure he'll shrug off that ankle problem and be in the squad from Wolves. And Yasser Larouci, who's been on the bench a lot for Sheffield United this season, could well be in the Algeria squad as well after recently switching allegiances from the French youth side. Burkina Faso got a few players as well. They've got Bertrand Traoré from Aston Villa. They've got Ouattara from Bournemouth, who's been good but hasn't had that much starts this season. And Issa Kabore, who's currently on loan at Luton Town, will also be heading to the AFCON from there. So some interesting players actually at Luton. Cameroon, now, what's going on with Onana? We know Joel Matip from Liverpool probably won't go, retired a few years ago, but Onana, will he stay and try and save his club form? They have got the backup keeper United, Bayinda. Surely they would have signed him because they expected Onana to go to the AFCON, but who knows? We saw the last tournament Cameroon were involved in. Rigobert Song sent Onana home, but nonetheless, he's a big player for Cameroon. You've got Baleba at Brighton, who hasn't actually made his debut yet. And you've got Brian Mbeumo, who's going to be a big blow for Brentford, particularly because they lost Tony in the first half of the season. But with Tony coming back from suspension in the new year, it might work quite well as a direct replacement for Brian Mbeumo. So, Mbeumo and Onana, some big players there. DR Congo, obviously you've got Ruddock and Panzi from Luton. You've got Wissa, again, another key forward for Brentford. So that's Mbeumo and Wissa they're going to lose. They need Tony back ASAP. Are we going to see Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Manchester United join the ranks of the Congolese? We'll have to wait and see. Egypt, very straightforward. It will be Mohamed Elneny and Mohamed Salah. Ghana, could we see another Manchester United England youth player switch allegiances in Kobe Mainoo, who can play in the midfield for Ghana? Thomas Partey, of course, from Arsenal. Semenyo from Bournemouth. Tariq Lamptey, if fit. The guy's injured like 6 days a week at Brighton. And then Kudus at West Ham, who could be a big blow for West Ham. The way he's been brilliant, he's been sensational. And then Jordan Ayew and Jeffrey Schlupp, you expect to go from Crystal Palace as well. As for Morocco, you've got Sofiane Amrabat, another player that Manchester United are definitely going to be losing if fit. He hasn't started that many games for United, but again, another player that they'll be wanting to keep that they won't, from a country that will probably go far in the tournament. Alan Sarawi from Burnley hasn't featured much. All I can remember much of him this season is getting sent off. Issa Diop from Fulham. Now, he's poor. He's not better than Aguerd or Saïd, so he could go with Morocco, but I can't see it. And of course, Naya Faged from West Ham, another big blow, he'll certainly go as well. Ivory Coast have got quite a lot of players. They'll probably have the most players going to AFCON from the Premier League. Fewer at Nottingham Forest. You've got Ahmad, who's not really featured at all for United. Adingra at Brighton, who's burst on the scene, who could take the place of Cornet at West Ham. I'll be surprised if both goes. Traore, another player from Bournemouth. And then you've got Aurier, Willy Bolly and Sangare from Nottingham Forest. That is well, we know Forest like to sign a lot of players. That's a big blow for Forest. They're going to have to bring in some reinforcements as well. And they've got other players at other countries going to the tournament. And then you've got Benny Traore, who could go with from Sheffield United as well. Who's been on the bench after the first few game weeks. Mali have got a few. Cheikh Doucouré at Crystal Palace, although he won't be going to AFCON with the injury he's recently picked up. But if he would have been going if fit. So either way, Palace miss out on Doucouré. Abdoulaye Doucouré from Everton, if he goes. You've got Koulibaly at Sheffield United. Boubakar Traore at Wolves. And Basuma from Tottenham, who's been really good in that middle, particularly with Pape Sarr. That was part of the big form for Spurs at the start of the season. Lyle Foster of South Africa, probably Burnley's player of the season so far this season, but he's been suffering with some mental health issues. We wish him a speedy recovery, but a big player for South Africa if they make that happen. Maybe more Nigerians than you see that could switch. Nathan Teller recently in the English football system switched, but now he's at Leverkusen. Ola Aina and Awonyi, again from Forest, probably going to the tournament. Onyeka from Brentford, and then Iwobi and Bassi, 2 Nigerian internationals at Fulham. So that'll be a blow for Fulham. As for Senegal, Nicholas Jackson, whenever you think of him, will certainly go, as will Gay from Everton. Kouyaté and Niakate, another 2 players from Nottingham Forest. You could probably field a full 11 of Forest African players going to the tournament. It's insane. And like I said, Pape Sarr, who's been unreal in the middle for Spurs this season. And ending it with Tunisia, Sami Chouchen, who hasn't made a real first team appearance for Brighton in the Premier League, but is a Tunisian international, so nonetheless Brighton will probably lose him. Slimane from Sheffield United, who hasn't had that much game time since joining in the summer. And Hannibal Mejbri, another Manchester United midfielder, so potentially it could be Mainu, Mejbri, Amrabat, Wan-Bissaka from Manchester United, Anana. They've got a lot of players to think of. So, quite a few Premier League assets going to the tournament. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.